And welcome back to the class, everyone. We have a very special class today. We are joined by Sonjita. How are you doing, Sonjita?
Doing pretty good, Calvin. Thanks for having me.
It's all our pleasure. And I noticed, actually, recently, this is not at all what we're here to talk about, but you're a very skilled GAC player, and we're actually 20 points away from each other right now in Kyber. You are in the
And I
lead, so I
noticed
guess
that too.
the pressure's on me to kind of catch up there. But before our infamous match, if and when that happens, we kind of like to get to know you a little bit about your channel. You've had some really cool things come out recently. You down for that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I hope we do match at some point, but 20 points is kind of an awkward distance.
It
Where
is
if
how
I
that
would,
breaks up.
yeah, if I lose one, you win one, you're going to be ahead by like 15, and then I don't know. I hope we match up though. That would be awesome.
Yeah, so we'll need to figure that out. But you're all right. It has to either be like 1 point off, or you want to be like 35 points off.
Right.
And we do this, what we are looking at right now, this beautiful roster does also belong to our co-host for this episode. So we've got a lot of really cool things going on. So as we have your account up, how long have you been playing? Like, how long did it take you to get to 9.9? And I guess, are you excited about hitting 10 mil?
I am kind of excited about hitting 10 mil. It's kind of crazy to think about. So how long I've been playing is has a three-part answer. So I had a day one account. I started playing after I saw commercials for it, but I quit in like early 2016 because I got fed up with Count Dooku tap dancing over, poking, tap dancing back, coming ability block, tap dance in one time speed, and they'd stun you. And there were so many problems with it. Like the reset time couldn't change it, all these different things. It was so slow. I quit. I didn't come back, and I started a new account in March 2019. I tried to make it work with that really old account, and then I realized like Arena is impossible. So I completely restarted and just had more of a plan in place to go. And I personally have never spent any money in the game. And that free account, completely free to play, got to like 2.9 million in May 2020. And then a player in my arena shard who was much further along, he was like 3.9 mil, so like 1.1 mil ahead of me. He quit and he wanted someone to take over his account. And I was like, it was a hard decision, honestly, because a lot of the game is just building up your roster and it's like
It
it's
is.
yours. But we had exactly like the same stuff. He just had it a little bit better. And that was right when Galactic Legends had come out. He didn't have one. So I still had no Galactic Legends, but it was like it just seemed like such a frustrating road ahead. And after thinking about it a while, I took it. So starting from May 2020, I had a 3.9 mil account. There to now, no money spent. That's how I got to 9.9 mil.
All right, so that's quite the journey. And looking here at the top end, I'd kind of like to ask a few questions about what we could do for people who are kind of starting off, for people who are hitting that journey. And the one of the really challenging things, and you even mentioned it in the way the game used to exist with being with Squad Arena, why that was so
Hmm.
important was because that's where all the crystals were locked behind. And even now,
Hmm.
most players that are just now playing have a very small crystal supply if they're trying to be free to play like yourself. So that being said, if I only had, I'm gonna say 200. If I only have 200 crystals accumulated from both dailies as well as your very small grand arena payout that you get at that time, what would you put them towards?
Hmm.
What do you think is the most effective thing?
Um, we'd have to rotate a couple things. You'd probably have to rotate in and out mods because you need some mods to get going. But I'd probably, depending on what your bottleneck is, do like two refreshes of normal energy and one of Cantina if I had 200. But I'd also have to take breaks and do some mods. And ship energy isn't as important right away if you're a lower end player because that's for like gear 12 plus or gear 12 pieces. So that would be on the back burner. Yeah, it would just depend on what squads I have, but I'd probably prioritize at least normal energy and then swap in and out between Cantina and mods.
Okay, so I do find this interesting. I totally agree with it. The entire conversation around the 200 and probably even the 300 and 400 mark is just refreshes. There is literally
Yep.
nothing else. Have you found that
Yeah,
to be
nothing else.
consistent even through your experience now as a 10 million account or a
Oh yeah, I
9.9?
mean like it's always refreshes first. And it might get to a point where I have to, I don't know, wonder if that is still the case. If I get so many Chirotechs that I don't know what to do with them, I might reevaluate the like normal energy. But then there's also like the relic materials you need. Cantina, you're always going to need signal data. I think actually well, even ship energy, like I never have enough Gear 12 plus pieces. So
Yeah.
the one I've like neglected the most over the past couple of years is mods, which is bad. But I was so focused on keeping up with characters and gear that I like would neglect the mods. And it's better now that they like changed it so that all the shapes come up just as
Oh,
often as each other.
yes.
Yeah, and
Significantly
like
better.
only 5 dots, because it just killed me inside to like use. Okay, I use 3 refreshes, roll a bunch of mods. They're all 3 and 4 dot, and then the 5 dots are like, I don't know. It's like a just a crappy primary with no speed or something. So it's easier now to spend on mods, but yeah, it's all refreshes. And whenever they release one of these stupid meta ships where you have to like shell out 10,000 crystals, then that's the only thing I can buy as far as discretionary spending. But right now, I'm in a period where I think I'm going to be using some of that for relic or signal data. Definitely with like the leftover 1,000 or a couple thousand. Um, but then there's also conquest. So like whenever a new Datacron set comes out, I do the 50s and hundreds refreshes for conquest. And then on the second round of that set, I just do 50s. So it's like I have to stock up. Um, so this upcoming conquest, I won't have to spend as much. But I don't know. It's just tugging every which way. I feel bad for people that like just start now and can't be in like Kyber 1 or 2 or 3, and they just get lower amount of crystals because I already feel like I'm stretched too thin on them.
This is an entirely different conversation, so we won't dig deep into this. But I'd really kind of like to start a new account right now just to see, because I
Mm,
mean, we've been again, I won't get into the weeds, but we've both been playing for a long time now, and I enjoy where I'm at. I enjoy my account. I enjoy being Kyber one and all that fun stuff. But
yeah.
I'd like to see what it's like because I feel like I would just feel like I'm flying. You mentioned it with the mods, but there's so many things they've done recently. And granted,
Yeah.
they had to do them because the game has gotten bigger. But with mods
Yeah.
and character shards as
Well, the
well as
gear.
gear, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
huge change. But
Yeah, the
next,
gear is huge.
oh yeah, no, I think really all three of them. Like I feel like the most hidden quality of life change that we got as far as economy was when they doubled or they condensed the mod salvage into the same one because that almost doubles your mod energy if you're going purely for that salvage
Yeah.
material. It's huge.
So wait, what do you mean?
So when they added the
Oh,
6D through
oh,
6A,
oh
they
yeah, like
condensed a lot of the
yeah, on the
smaller ones
battles.
into one group and they didn't change the drop rate.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, that was 100%. I was like over the moon about that. I was like, oh, for the
I was just
longest time,
surprised they didn't brag about it because it was such a huge
I know,
change.
like maybe they're not aware how big that was. For the longest time, I just farmed the one with the yellow, one that gets you to 6 dot, and
Yep.
the other one that like gets you an extra slice. But now I'm at the point where I don't have like good mods left to slice to 6, so I have to like just farm better ones. And
No,
they're all like 6 dot greens too. So
no, I'm very much on that. Yeah, I have to farm potency mods now for Afra, but kind of a different question. This one's a very much a curveball, so we'll see if you're ready for it. We
sure.
have a new raid coming out, and we obviously
Hmm.
know the best team, or at least in my opinion. I don't think there's any comparison. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but Jabba's going to be by far the best team. He's the only Galactic Legend, and then on top of that, he is the only raid
Hypothetically,
only. Um, Tuscans are probably a pretty good consideration, but what do you think is going to be like the sleeper team? And not necessarily the best team, but the one that is going to really surprise people with how good it is.
well, I don't think it'll be Old Republic. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe Mandalorians, because like you, they say it's based on debuffs, and if you get like a mall team going with Canderous, then I don't know, they get tons of debuffs. I mean, we really don't know how it's going to work at all, but it's something with debuffs, and it's just windows of opportunity. So I feel like Maul could do something, and I don't know, they things go so weird in this game sometimes, where it's like one team, like remember when recently with the TIE Interceptor. Proving Grounds that got open to everyone. It was like Galactic Legends would lose, but then like Treya would win.
Oh, the
So it's
Reva
like,
mission? Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know. Some things are completely unpredictable, but I think Mandalorians. I mean, all I'm going to be able to use is Hut Cartel, Mandalorians, and Old Republic. Even if I wanted to like farm up Tuskens, I'm not buying shards for them. So it's literally just wait this. Like the question, should I farm this new character for me is always the same. It's like, yeah, it's just going to take forever. So it's like, okay, sure, Tuskens are great. They still got to wait. Sure, Zori's great. I got to wait to get her. It just takes so long for everything with shards. Shards are always the biggest bottleneck for me.
So this is kind of a off the cuff question then.
Mm-hmm.
If you got the shards faster, let's just say, let's play imagination here, that Siege was like all new characters also get shards accelerated. There is no slow mode. You're gonna get the character in 3 months if you do that. They won't do this for monetization reasons, I realize that. But if they did,
Mm-hmm.
would you be able to keep up with relics? Like if you're getting like Tuskens and Afro requirements and Jabba requirements in half the time, do you think you're going to be able to keep up with signal data?
No, absolutely not. That's why I don't really care about one bottleneck because if one bottleneck evaporated, I would just get transported. It would be neatly tied up and packaged. Okay, here's the new one. And it's like right now, I mean, I have a good amount of signal data. I'm stockpiling it for the fake C3PO and little R2D2, BT1 000.
Yep.
Because as soon as they hit 7 star, I need them Relic 5. And it's going to be a nail biter if I can get Afra at a Relic 7 before 5v5. But everything's a bottleneck. Everything is a synchronized bottleneck for me, including Zetas. And I accidentally applied a Zeta to young Lando today, which was heartbreaking because
Oh, that is
um,
heartbreaking because
I
it's
was only going to have 3 available for both the droids and Afra. So now I'll have like 2. I gave one to BT1 just so I didn't accidentally give that out to a crap crew member that I was giving Omegas to and accidentally give the Zeta.
I,
Um,
I was about to say that's the only redeeming factor about that, because even if you use him under Dash, hit all Zeta does is make him more prepared, and Dash makes sure he's always prepared.
Yeah, well, mine is like year 10. He was like year 8. Now he's like year 10 or something. But
Yeah.
I just like, I was looking at my gear. I was like, I have too much gear for sub gear 12. I'm just gonna like level up some crew members or something, try to inflate my GP. And then tragedy struck. Um, but yeah, all my bottlenecks are so synchronized, except like sub gear 12 gear. That's just like piling up to the moon. But then like once I get to gear 12 and then gear 13, then it's like I don't even care that I'm stuck at shards because I need this other time to build up this other stuff. So it doesn't matter either way.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same position where, well, and again, we're end game, so this is not a fair question for everyone. But people ask me like, what do you
Yeah.
prioritize? And I'm like, I'm just kind of going after what's left, and it'll take me 6 months to do
Yeah.
it. By the time it's done, I'll have all the relic levels ready for it. So there's really like, I don't have, and I think we can still offer some pretty good advice as far as roster building goes, because for there's a lot of people who aren't in that position. There are a ton of people out there
Mhm.
who don't just have one or two things in front of them, are just going to slow farm. They have like 10 good options. And that's where a lot
Yeah.
of like your videos about like ranking the best from each faction, or my roster building videos,
Yeah.
really come in handy, because people are having to make educated decisions based off of a lot of data.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
my
It's like an
farming choices are always the
overwhelming amount.
same. It is. I found it
Yeah.
overwhelming when I first started playing this game, and that's actually why this is another random tangent, but why I was really drawn toward Phoenix, not because there were 10 guides out there that told me Phoenix was best, but because you couldn't get the team wrong. There were only 6
Yeah.
characters. So all I had
Oh,
to
I
do was
love
pick
using Phoenix.
5, and it was just a full proof thing, because I tried doing Jedi before Phoenix, and I just got so
Ooh.
frustrated because I'm like, my Eve Koth is 7 stars. Why is he dealing significantly less damage than my 3-star Ezra? Like, it didn't make sense to me, and I just didn't understand the
Yeah. No.
game. There was
Yeah.
too
That's
much going
stuff.
on. So I was like, I'm just gonna pick a faction that I can't mess up.
Yeah. I mean, it's just you're drowning in a quagmire of information. Yeah, I really enjoyed Phoenix when I restarted in 2019. It was just so smooth. And like, I mean, going back to like day one, I thought I was doing something wrong when Mace Windu was terrible. I was like,
Oh,
this guy's awesome. He's doing nothing. Like, why I'm doing my Mace Windu is broken. Like, There's some reason where he's not good. Um, and then also when I came
And in
back,
a way, you
I
were very right.
re-downloaded the game. Yeah, I re-downloaded the game and I tried to play for like a week with that really old roster that was like level 77. And what made me restart, and it was Galactic War. I kept
Mm.
facing Bastila Shan and also
Oh.
Phoenix. And first of all, when I came across Phoenix, I was like, I don't know who any of these people are. I didn't know anything about Rebels. I was like, who are these guys? Like in this Ezra, like annoyed me so much because like this guy just comes flying through the air, whacks me, and then like runs back, and it does an insane amount of damage. And I've never heard of him. And I was like, what the heck? And then I started going to YouTube, and I was like, man, I hope I'm not one of these people that like goes to YouTube all the time for a video game. But I finally like swallowed
And
my
here
pride
we
and like
are.
did it. I was like, this is cool. This is fun. I really enjoy this. And then everyone was like, Phoenix, you get them. They're quick. It's easy and early. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's actually. They're like, you can get Thrawn and Emperor Palpatine, and you get some Jedi for
True.
Yoda. And I was like, wow, that's great. That's like three things for one. So yeah, I was really enthusiastic about Phoenix when I started over.
So that
And I
that
still think
gives
they're a good idea.
I think that leads me into our final question because now I'm very curious, and I don't think I have an answer for this. I might have five answers, but I don't think I have one good answer. What's the new
Oh,
Phoenix? Like what's the new
Phoenix.
faction that when you start immediately, like they're really quick, you can get them, and they're pretty good.
Um, I mean, I think probably Imperial Troopers, if you're not looking at Phoenix, I mean, they're way better than Phoenix. They're on like early nodes. Not all of them, like yeah, Piet's a little bit later, but Moff Gideon and Dark Trooper are really early. And then if you just get a couple others, fears you get not, it doesn't take too long before you can
No,
get them. But yeah, I think Imperial Troopers. They're not as like they're not versatile with like unlocking stuff, but they're just good in their own right. Like they're gonna get you through all these game modes. They're gonna unlock R2D2 for you. Otherwise, it's just in and of themselves. That's why in like my farming guide for this specific nodes, I like rank them high for like farm them on this node, even though they don't fit into like a particular unlock.
one thing I do like about them, and this probably isn't very beginner game, more so mid game, but and it's actually one of the reasons why I kind of encourage C in a lot of cases, is because they max out two assault battles for you. And that is a lot of
That is true,
resources over
actually.
a
Yeah.
lot of time. So yeah, you're correct. You don't really get like a you're not getting like a gas or anything out of them, but they have their kind of niche uses here and there as far as events go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it takes a while, and that's actually something if I make like another edition or like a step two of like a farming guide, assault battles need to be factored in there. But it's just it's so nice that they made them simmable. I don't have to
Oh
think
yeah.
about it anymore. I remember waking up and before like I'd go to class, I'd have to or like my job or whatever I was doing, and just try to like get challenge tier one done of the Ewok thing with like Palpatine, like a Gear 11 Palpatine, Gear 12 Darth Vader, like a Gear 11 Thrawn. Just like trying to make that work. Get to level step four, doesn't work, then give up for the day. But then troopers just stomp all that stuff.
All right, yeah. No, yeah, they're very, very good in those events and elsewhere. But I think that is about all the time we have for today. So I want to thank you very much for being here with us, answering all of our super hard questions. And before we go, would you like to tell people like where they can find you? I know I referenced some of your videos. You referenced some of your videos here, but like you on YouTube, what's your name? Where are you? How often are you there?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube. It's Sonjita, Songeta. Mostly, a lot of stuff I do is focused around Grand Arena. I have actual matches. I'm talking about my Grand Arenas. I do some rankings, like a little bit of roster building, a lot of different little stuff. I do roster reviews, and I'm open to like different types of content ideas. I don't live stream sadly because my internet does not have a good enough upload speed to support such a thing. But yeah, just come check it out.
All right. Well, I'll end with this. We'll also put all that information down in the description below. So if you just want a one-click solution, there it is. But until the next time, guys, go ahead and stay mad, sun awesome.